Riots in South Africa leave immigrants from Bangladesh without their businesses or a place to live. A group of medical experts and government officials discuss long-term care at start of 2019 TIMA Conference. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is DI Headlines. South Africa is undergoing the most serious unrest in 10 years, and many from Bangladesh have become homeless after their stores were damaged in rioting. Tzu Chi volunteers delivered clothes, shoes, and rice when visiting these individuals.
Johannesburg is undergoing the most serious unrest in 10 years, and all the stores have been broken into. Although the targets were immigrants from African countries, many civilians have also been harmed. Tzu Chi volunteers were informed that there are about 50 homeless from Bangladesh who escaped from a hotel. They immediately deliver rice and clothes to them.
We saw that many of them wore shorts and slippers because a lot of their items are in the stores. They have nothing left after the stores were burned, only some clothing and cash left.
We gave them some items Tzu Chi has at the time, at least to keep them from hunger first. We also got some clothes and shoes for them.
They are all thankful for the timely help, and their frightened hearts have been calmed temporarily. Volunteers also deliver English Tzu Chi magazines to give them good wishes.
In Indonesia, at the Nurul Iman boarding school in West Java, Chinese classes have been offered since 2004. Currently, many students are able to speak fluent Chinese. Let's take a look.
Can you imagine that the students at Nurul Iman boarding school speak Chinese the whole day? The teachers give instructions in Chinese. At Nurul Iman boarding school in Bogor, West Java, many of the 15,000 students are orphans or come from impoverished families. There is a reason many students here speak fluent Chinese.
Kami mengenal bahasa Mandarin atau kami mulai mempelajari bahasa Mandarin semenjak kami kenal dengan Yayasan Tzu Chi.
We started offering Chinese classes after getting to know Tzu Chi Foundation. When Tzu Chi volunteers came to our school in 2004, in terms of our curriculum, we combined the teaching materials offered by the Education Bureau and Tzu Chi schools.
Dengan kurikulum atau muatan materi yang diberikan oleh Yayasan Tzu Chi dengan atau yang berkaitan dengan bahasa Mandarin.
The founder of Nurul Iman boarding school, the late Habib Sagaf, used to believe that offering Chinese class can stimulate the interaction in the multifaceted society. As Chinese has become more widely used in the world, Nurul Iman boarding school has listed Chinese as a required subject. There are 2 Chinese classes weekly in elementary school and 2 additional Chinese classes in junior high. In addition, there are classes to enhance extra practice of Chinese. After school, the teachers encourage their students to speak English, Arabic, Chinese, and Japanese with one another.
Learning Chinese is very important, since we can speak Chinese with Chinese people. Then one day we can go to China.
The Nurul Iman boarding school values Chinese classes and has set up language classrooms in the male and female student buildings. The teachers use slides, movies, and videos as educational tools.
Tantangannya misalkan ketika anak-anak sulit memahami.
We encounter challenges when students cannot comprehend the teaching materials or when they lose the learning motivations. Usually, the students lose confidence when they start to learn Chinese grammar.
Itu mungkin tantangan bagi kami selaku dewan pengajar.
With the help of Tzu Chi volunteers, the school has trained more than 40 Chinese teachers. They rely on themselves to maintain the daily teaching.
Mereka yang minat untuk HSK, kami akan alokasikan khusus di luar jam.
We encourage the students who are willing to learn in-depth Chinese to attend the extra language enhancement classes. Through special teaching materials, we enhance their Chinese level. 20 to 30% of the students pass the Chinese exam in every class.
20 atau 30% yang mengikuti HSK dari jumlah siswa tiap tingkatannya.
For 15 years, Tzu Chi volunteers have transcended religious differences and passed on great love. They help every student learn and grow with love and patience.
In Indonesia, University of Al-Azhar offers a Chinese major. To encourage students to learn Chinese, the school holds a Chinese contest every year. This year, 180 students from 60 schools participated.
As Chinese is widely used in the world, Islamic universities also offer Chinese major. To encourage the students to learn Chinese, the Chinese Department of University of Al-Azhar holds a Chinese contest every year. The participating students showcase their Chinese through storytelling, poster designing, singing, Chinese dance, plays, and producing video clips. The contest has attracted students from schools in Jakarta and nearby areas, including Tzu Chi Junior High School, Nurul Imam Boarding School, and other national schools.
Pertama, salah satunya sih untuk memperkenalkan ya program studi sastra.
We introduced University of Al-Azhar's Chinese department to high school students. 180 students from 60 high schools have participated in this contest.
Kurang lebih ya 180 peserta dan diikuti oleh kurang lebih 60 sekolah yang berbeda.
Wearing a hat and a mask, the student works hard to express the content of the story. Legendary stories, including the story of Nian, Kongrong shares the pears, Crow drinks water, and the butterfly lovers have appeared in the storytelling contest.
Ini untuk persiapan itu butuh 2 minggu.
I spent 2 weeks preparing for the storytelling contest. First of all, I need to translate the story into Chinese. Chinese characters have the characteristics of being rich in imagery. After writing the Chinese characters, I need to add their phonetic sound. Then I need to simplify the language so people can understand what we are trying to express. I feel inspired seeing many Chinese people here. I want to learn Chinese as well.
Producing a video clip with a smartphone, students from a Christian high school snatched first place with their work called How to Say Hello in Chinese. The contestants also show their passion for Chinese songs and showcase their singing ability.
Nah, ini saya pikir sudah cukup berhasil.
I think it is quite successful. The number of contestants this year has reached 180. As an activity participated by students on their own initiative, it is quite good.
Through various activities, the students showcase their Chinese ability as well as their talents. Having learned Chinese, they can make more friends and go abroad in the future.
Reading books to your children can help them develop neurons in their brains. Doctors say that if you can read books to your children before they are 6 years old, their brains will develop very well, as well as their bodies and minds.
Every parent should have read books to their children. It is not just a way to spend time, but it is a key to the children's neural development.
After a baby is born and up until he is 6 years old, his brain will grow very rapidly. The neurons will need all kinds of stimuli to help the neurons connect with each other.
The connected neurons become the network for babies' learning. The studies have shown that children who sit on their parents' laps and listen to the stories show tighter connections among their neurons. Through reading, the children can know the world in a systematic way, understand abstract concepts and different emotions. It is thus important to the development of their emotional expressions and characters.
Reading with your children can build an excellent bond with them, and it's also important to develop their brains. After babies are born, the parents can start reading with them.
Reading with your children can improve the children's vocabulary as they follow the parents' words or having a conversation with the parents. It can stimulate the children's language development and improve their communication ability. The drawings in the books can get their attention and improve their concentration and memories.
I feel reading can help him with recognition, thinking process, and develop his logic. He can learn from reading and also become emotionally stable.
Reading with children is important to the children's psychological development because when the parents are reading, the children can appreciate the beautiful and rich sentences. And as the story is unfolded, the children can enjoy the dazzling plots in the story. This is the most magnificent high-quality company the parents can have to their children.
Reading with your children can become a mark in the kid's brain forever. If you ask me about the most important life present we can give to babies, my answer will be reading with them.
The 2019 TIMA Conference began on September 11th. The first issue discussed was long-term care for seniors. A senior expert on long-term care from the Netherlands, also the Minister of Health and Welfare, were invited to speak on the difficulties and practices faced by an aging society.
Every year, members of the Tzu Chi International Medical Association from around the world come to Taiwan for their annual conference near the Mid-Autumn Festival. 506 members from 24 countries came this time, and it is the first time for the members from Ecuador, Mozambique, Burkina Faso, and Syria to join. Medical staff from the Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center teaches nearly 1,000 people the shorter form of Tai Chi, so they can also learn different types of medical care to help more people.
There's a neighborhood care.
Taiwan is an aging society already, and long-term care has become an important issue. The 2019 TIMA Conference invited the biggest long-term care platform in the Netherlands, called Boostdorp, to come to and share its neighborhood care mode. In particular, it promotes the onion mode, which means that each case must first achieve self-reliance and then to receive the assistance from family members or community resources if necessary.
Holland has had community care for nearly 100 years now, and in Taiwan it's relatively new. And I think for Taiwan it's important to learn that entire route that we had to where we got now, rather than making mistakes that a lot of countries and small organizations have made. To learn from people with experiences in other countries can be very helpful.
As Taiwan might become a super aging society, the conference also invited Chen Shizhong, the Minister of Health and Welfare, to share the government plans on long-term care, hoping to let the overseas doctors know more about the development and current status on long-term care in Taiwan.
First, we have established 3 levels of care from A to C in many parts of Taiwan. Second, the salaries of our care workers have also been increased, so they are more satisfied with their work. Of course, the care recipients also said this system is very good.
This sharing of experiences from the Netherlands and Taiwan gives TIMA members from 24 countries an inside look at the Taiwan system. Hopefully, they can be inspired to contribute their shares in long-term care.
After the 9/21 earthquake, many elderly people lost their children and their homes. At that time, the Bodhi village was established to accommodate these affected elderly people. It was thought that after 1 or 2 years it would be phased out, as no one expected it to continue some 20 years later.
Lin Wenlong is a single, unmarried man at the age of 86 years old. He lived alone in the countryside of Nantou. On the day of the 9/21 earthquake, he just went out to visit a friend and escaped danger.
Everyone said that there was a solitary elder living called Lin Wenlong, and maybe the earthquake crushed him.
The collapsed house was not rebuilt as he rented a house. His activities are limited to going to just the front door.
Some old people were taken then, but I have now survived for 20 years after 9/21.
Both knees have been gradually degrading and he has blood pressure problems. Later, we introduced a caregiver to check him every day.
Grandma, are you feeling a little better recently?
We found their feelings of compassion or love have become closer, especially in Nanto's elder care service food delivery.
The initiator of this program is Tzu Chi, who believes that the health of the elderly is unpredictable.
Our cook was crying when she came back and said that someone had passed away, and this was something we couldn't bear to see.
For the elderly, having no one to live with them, especially poor families with little assistance, can be difficult. Tzu Chi has not been reluctant to assist them. For 20 years, many people have been able to walk with dignity at the end because of him.
In this pagoda, there may be 1,000 such people that I know, but I can't remember exactly.
Originally, it was easy to make money with a scooter repair shop, but during the 9/21 earthquake, young mechanics were crushed to death in his shop, and Guoxing Road was devastated. This led Tzu Chi to lament the impermanence of life, as he later began to take care of the elderly.
Because I see old people smiling, I think that I'm doing a good job. Some people ask me why I have been doing this the whole time, and I say that this is our spiritual subsistence.
The proportion of the very elderly in Guoxing is 20.59%. If we look elsewhere, the figure in Taiwan is 14.7%. The National Development Council estimates that in Taiwan, 1 out of every 5 people will be an elderly person in 2025. Aging rate of Taiwan's population from the old age to the super aged is estimated to take only 8 years, which is much faster than that of Japan, USA, France, United Kingdom.
This was a temporary place for the elderly. And later, we found out that this elderly community can provide mutual support for each other. This can solve many of the problems of the elderly face.
After the 9/21 earthquake, Bodhi Village was set up for the elderly, has taken care of more than 300 people. Chen Fangzi was asked to help the village head and never thought that 20 years later she would be doing the same work, like a sort of waking dream.
Because I am only a volunteer, there are some duties that I can't finish.
She treats this place like a home and some of the elderly as if they were part of her own family with 5 generations living under one roof.
This elderly village is so interesting. After coming here, I found this is really a place one can live.
Chen Wenxue lived in Changqing village for more than a year as a scholar and is most familiar with this elderly community.
They do not use money as the basis of many things, and they consider everyone to be a family, and few people talk about this in the past. This village here has inspired many discussions and let me feel that I really admire the operation of this place.
Become a member of this community, he called the couple of Chen Fangzi mom and dad.
I couldn't be a mother myself and felt sad about this. But now, I don't have any regrets because I have a group of children here which currently surround me.
This big family now is not just comprised of the elderly, but also those who have physical and mental disabilities. Everyone listens and works together to make tofu and do work outside the house. The dishes grown by the elderly in the backyard are the best ingredients for their food. They don't rely on the government to help them. They can earn money to support their lives and are free from the general rules of the system.
In Japan and the USA, they have these community development programs to support the elder, and this Bodhi community 20 years ago began to implement this concept.
The development of this community over 20 years has led to amazing results. By not focusing on the simple family model, can other places replicate this lifestyle? Chen Fangzi boldly dreams about this.
There are more than 300 townships in Taiwan. We don't need all of them, just about half to establish such village, and then change every 3 months to a new area. This way, I will make myself happy in the rest of my life.
The 9/21 earthquake caused many children to lose their parents. They carried this pain inside their hearts. Back then, Taiwan did not have any psychological counseling services, so the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families worked with Japan for 10 years by bringing these children to Japan to heal their psychological wounds.
Huang Yiting lost her mother and her home in the 9/21 earthquake. She was only in primary school at the time. so the grievances struck her hard. The staff from the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families brought her to Japan the following year for psychological therapies.
When I was over there, I felt everyone was the same. I didn't feel different from them nor rejected by them, and that made me feel at ease.
The 9-day camp to help healing allowed the children to release their grievances and express to others how they felt. The social worker who brought eating to Japan reunited with her again 19 years later.
Yes, she's grown up. She used to be fragile and small. Her hair was cut very short then, and it made her look like a boy. I had thought she was a boy at first.
Long time no see. How are you doing? The warmth after the calamity changed Eating's life.
When I was in my 3rd or 4th year in college, I had decided to be a social worker.
She made it through and has done quite well. When she decided to work at helping people, it is a great encouragement to social workers like me.
After the 9/21 earthquake, many children who lost their families or support required a lot of help, but the welfare groups realized what they could do was very limited.
When a child was rescued, but his family wasn't, it caused a lot of self-blame and regret. But our social workers didn't know much about psychological healing then.
The Taiwan Fund for Children and Family brought the experiences from Japan to Taiwan and founded the Rainbow House to assist the earthquake-surviving children in Taiwan. And this love will remain in the children's hearts.
To celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival, Tzu Chi volunteers from various regions invited members of the public to participate in a reunion of the Tzu Chi family. Volunteers performed sign language interpretation and measured blood pressure for the elderly and members of the public.
Different activities have been held in the Senior Borough to celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival. The senior, who is nearly 90 years old, has been praised for his contribution to the community for a long time.
It's very distressing to have nothing to do at home. The chief of village told me that he was going to give me an award for my service of being the recycling volunteer in the village for a long time.
I used to work before. I could only drive the recycling truck on Saturdays for about 4 years already. I promoted environmental protection to the residents, asking them to save the planet together. We need to practice recycling in our community. Next month, I will divide the leaders into several groups and assign them to do recycling in the community every month or every week.
The activity for celebrating Mid-Autumn Festival in Dam Shui is filled with humanity. The sign language interpretation was gracefully performed by Tzu Chi volunteers.
The sign language performances of the sisters are very graceful, making us very touched.
It's not good to have barbecue outside like other people do. I don't like it because it is not environmentally friendly and it is unhealthy.
Volunteers teach the participants to fold a cute rabbit shape by using a towel. To celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival, the participants taste tea and eat pomelo, while enjoying the moon which is projected on the screen.
In Xiamen, Tzu Chi volunteers brought mooncakes to care recipients for the Mid-Autumn Festival. We will leave you with this. Goodbye.